decades. And it's unleashed forces that are going to take a generation to resolve.
This is a human.
They're sneaky, dirty rats.
This is a politician.
We will prevail because America is a great country. We'll prevail because America is a great country that can withstand even some of the present circumstances.
This is a human.
How am I doing? Am I doing okay? I'm president. Hey, I'm president. Can you believe it, right? I don't know.
So, when a politician is told that a friend is toxic, he'll drop him like a hot potato with syphilis. But a human being with no political experience relies on something called loyalty. Maybe that's why Donald Trump said to James Comey, hey, go easy on Mike Flynn. Now, that's not political, but it's human. Come to think of it, every Trump error is human, not political. Defending Flynn, human. Talking to the Russians, same thing. Trump thinks sharing information about a shared enemy creates a friendship. Humans do this. It's called gossip. If I tell you what Lou Dobbs does before every show, you'll like me more. It's true. FYI, he eats a mouse. So Trump's not a Beltway pro. He's a salesman from Queens. He could sell cooties to a 6-year-old. Everything's a blunt negotiation, and the only difference is he's open about it. What's discussed behind closed doors, bribes, bombings, waterboarding, Trump says it to your face. Of course I gave money to the Democrats. Of course waterboarding works. ISIS, I say, bomb the out of them. Donald Trump believes that you deal with the bad to prevent the worst. So the media, who still can't accept we elected a cat, not a dog, screams when he refuses to fetch. True, Trump doesn't make it easy. His public combativeness scares a media that prefers fighting anonymously. And this paints a fat target on him, one that Rachel can't resist.
I am 44 years old. I'm 44 years old. 44 years ago today, 44 years ago today, in 1973, the televised Watergate hearings.
How old is she again? And you better buy this Russian story or else you're a denier.
It's deny, deflect, downplay.
Right.
That's basically what the coverage is these days.
All about providing a counter narrative. The Trump White House helps do this, but really it's pro-Trump media that help do this. Provide a counter narrative for people to share on their Facebook pages, to share on Twitter, and to discuss with their friends.
Oh, God forbid, discussing this with your friends. Oh, my God, you mean a point of view that you dopes didn't think of? And so it seems like Hillary's plan is working. Remember who pushed the Russian tampering story? Hillary. See, it's Russia's fault that she lost, despite being the most lifeless candidate since Carl Geary ran for mayor of Tracy City, Tennessee. He was dead at the time. He still won. Unlike Hillary, she lost. Here's why.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask?
We never asked. Anyway, I've never been a defender of Trump, but remove his personality flaws and you find ideas that his critics secretly love but were too scared to voice. Trump was pro-law and order, was willing to call out radical Islam, challenged the lunacy of the politically correct, which leads to a real truth. That politically, this human being, Trump, is agreeable. His behavior, not so much. So it's war, Mean Girls style, over really dumb stuff. And it's done in a world beset by dark forces that laugh at our petty outrages. Behind closed doors, Trump, maybe he leaned on Comey. Behind closed doors in other places, they'll strangle you with dental floss. You saw those Turkish henchmen beat up protesters the other day? That was in our country. That's how the rest of the world is. It's men in bad suits who know exactly where to kick you just for fun. That attack on our turf shows you how America would be if there was no America to be. It's something the left never considers. It's something Trump thinks about every day. If only he could say it better. Yes. Sit down. Sit down. All right, let's welcome tonight's guests. While you were watching Scrubs, he killed bin Laden. He has a new book detailing how he did it. It's called The Operator, former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill. Thank you. While Rob was killing bin Laden, this guy was directing Scrubs. Actor, writer, and comedian Michael McDonald, he has a new show called Nobodies on TV Land. She's cranky and lanky, and you can take that to the banky. Host of the Fox News specialist, Kat Timpf. And the pyramids are his doorstop. Former bodyguard and my massive sidekick, Tyrus. All right. Rob, yes. Is Trump too human to be president?
I think it's not that he's too human. I think everyone's too politician. It's like everyone there is either a congressman or a former congressman or a senator that used to be a governor. There's a lot of things we need to fix, and term limits obviously is one of them. People right now in Washington, they're so worried about party politics, they don't really care about the country. What can I do for myself to keep myself in power, and how can I keep my party in power? And it's complete nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, even they're mad at Joe Lieberman today because he used to be a Democrat, but then he supported McCain and was for the war in Iraq, and they called Lieberman a fanatic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't picture him like painting his face and streaking at a football game.
Although I would like to see that.
I'd pay admission for that.
Yes, exactly. You know, Michael.
What is it, Greg? What's on your mind?
I have a pain in my lower back. No, I get this vibe that like, oh, if Trump was more traditional or more political, somehow he'd be accepted. But no, they would hate him a little bit less.
I was just watching all of the coverage between the press and Trump. It reminds me, I feel like each side has been given a script to Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Like one of the fights between Snooki and then one of the meatheads.
Sammy and Ronnie was always the best fights.
Okay, there you go. So one of them is Sammy and one of them is Ronnie, but I don't know who.
Yes.
It's literally like they're just talking, and who was it? Comey's friend was like, I'm here to tell you what Comey really thinks.
Yes.
It's just like they're doing one of those like smush room interviews or something.
That's what drove me crazy. The press got the information from the memo from his friend calling them. It is so Mean Girls. It is Jersey.
They were even saying that he wore a suit to camouflage himself with the drapes so no one could see him. I mean, the guy's 6'13". He's not going to hide with the drapes.
He hid in the drape.
He was so embarrassed.
That's my favorite news story of all time. Of all time.
Hiding in drapes?
That he purposely was wearing a suit to try to blend in with the drapes.
Yes.
If that's true, he's getting up in the morning saying, okay, what's the decor of where we're going to be and what am I going to wear, because otherwise Trump will talk to me and then maybe he'll hug me.
Yeah, it's like, thank God they don't have like lunches at Fridays. He'd have to cover himself in buttons.
He was like reenacting that old Carol Burnett sketch where she wears the drapes in the Gone with the Wind or something. He tried to hide.
It's hilarious. Tyrus, the problem with Trump, and you've nailed this. We talked about it. What is it about Trump that gets him into trouble?
His mouth. Like,
yes.
Trump was born in an era where you tell it like it was.
Yes.
There's not many of them left that aren't in homes or heavily medicated. And Trump gets mad, and he might have a great plan, but someone says something he doesn't like, he feels he has to fight everything.
Right.
And I'm kind of similar. When I get mad, I'll say a bunch of stuff, and I might bring up some things that aren't even accurate at the moment because I'm just mad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And but I'm more mad at his advisors.
Yeah.
They're not doing their job. If he had a great advisor, like when I bodyguard for Snoop did some dumb things I wouldn't allow him to do. I wouldn't allow him to hurt himself verbally, like interviews and stuff like that. And he fired me on so many occasions.
Yeah.
Because he was upset at me at that moment. But then when it was over, he was like, hey, I'm glad I didn't say that. I could have lost that gig. And then he rehired me.
Yeah.
There needs to be some of his guys getting fired.
You need to
for
be
like
Trump's bouncer.
taking the phone and just saying, "Hey, no, let it go, boss. You're the main event. Let it go. No. You know, and just do a lot of this with him. You know, because he's killing himself. Democrats aren't this clever.
Yeah.
They have no plan.
Yeah.
They're just like, no offense to the dog, but they're like dogs chasing the tire. There's a dog, there's a service dog here. But I'm just saying.
There's certain things that he is really bad at, though. Like even for a human, his staff, and then him will frequently come out saying opposite, contradicting things. Celebrities can figure that out. When Justin Bieber peed in that mop bucket, he waited till him and his team had one unified, this is our pee mop bucket statement. Bieber wasn't saying, oh, it was one thing, and then someone else said something like this, and people would be saying, well, what really happened with that bucket? Which is exactly what's happening now in America.
Well, I think we should end on the bucket note. I just believe, I think to Tyrus's point, I do believe it's a generational thing. He comes from another time where your personality and your decorum crude, but if they made their quota, it didn't matter that they were so crude to people, and I think that's what we're seeing. But before we go to break, Tyrus has something interesting to share. Tyrus?
Thanks, Greg. I just want everyone out there to know that being the White House press secretary is a ridiculously tough job. And the other day at the gym, Spicer and I were working out, and I asked him, yo, can I fill in for a day?
Yeah.
And he was like, if you finish this spot with me, you got it. And I did, and I got a chance to do it. And I got to tell you, it's a tough job. What it is. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's keep this short and sweet. First question, yes, John Roberts.
You do say, though, that national security has been put at risk by the leak of this. Do you have any idea?
John, I got to stop you right there. Love that pink tie. Takes a big man to wear a pink tie. Can we get a show of hands of how many people think here that John's pink tie is awesome? Thought so. Next question.
There may be a lot more in common between President Trump and the new President Emmanuel Macron of France. Would the president look forward to maybe even inviting him here to the La Maison Blanche?
I don't know about all that, but damn, that's a tremendous French accent. How do you say that again?
La Maison Blanche.
Maison Blanche?
Maison Blanche.
I give up. Love it, though. Plus 10 points for the accent. Next question. Ah, yes, the guy who couldn't bother to bring a pen.
Is President Trump still committed to his 15% corporate tax rate? He's also under pressure to keep some existing...
Sorry, dozed off there. Look, we're getting off topic. I came in here to tell you how much I love the White House press pool. You're the most rational, measured, non-confrontational group of people in the history of journalism.
Do you stick by that assertion?
Yeah. And let me say, good sir, that you have the best hair in the room. You got a problem with that? That's what I thought. Have a good day. Deuces.
All right. Coming up, I got 3 surprise guests here to talk about President Trump's first foreign trip. But first, how did the media handle all of Trump Russian news this week? Would it surprise you if I said badly? They're really reaching when it comes to impeaching. Yeah, this week our friends in the media tossed around the word impeachment like it was a fat baby at a sprinkler party.
Potentially, as you know, Senator, that could be impeachable. That could be an impeachable offense.
I think we're in impeachment territory now for the first time.
Did President Trump try to block the FBI's Russia investigation, commit an impeachable offense?
Is it an impeachable offense if, in fact, the president obstructed justice?
Ah, please. Meanwhile, some Democratic leaders tried to pump the brakes on impeachment talk. Here's California Congressman Adam Schiff, i.e. Sheriff Woody.
And no one ought to, in my view, rush to embrace, the most extraordinary remedy that involves the removal of the president from office. It cannot be perceived as an effort to nullify the election by other means.
And, of course, there was Texas Congressman Al Green, who couldn't help but do a little grandstanding on the floor of Congress.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
Wow. Just because you yell doesn't make it more likely to happen. I learn that every time I use the bathroom. Still, what do you do if thoughts of impeachment take over your every waking moment? Turns out there's hope.
Do all the thoughts in your head lead to only one conclusion? Are you constantly fixated on the same thing?
As you know, Senator, that could be impeachable.
I think we're in impeachment territory.
An impeachable offense.
Impeachment possibility. Is it an impeachable offense?
Have these fantasies gotten so bad that they're interfering with your everyday life?
Impeach the elevator! Impeach that party mix! Impeach that bear!
Well, now there's hope with ImpeachX. ImpeachX blocks the receptors in your brain that lead to these debilitating thoughts of impeachment, leaving you free to be a person again.
Before ImpeachX, I wanted to impeach everything. Now the only peach I care about are these schnapps.
So ask your doctor today about ImpeachX. Side effects may include getting a life and or being alienated by people who constantly want to talk about impeachment.
I may take that drug. All right, Michael, you know, is there some kind of, I don't know, the way the media sees this is so vastly different than America. Do you believe that to be the case, or are they...
Well, as a member of the media and Hollywood, I think my opinion is very important.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I mean, I think half the time there's just so many channels on, and people are just, it's almost like the DJ who has to fill up 5 hours of talk, and I honestly think they just talk and talk and talk until we just get around, what's a word I haven't used in a while? Impeachment.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't think you're going to let go. And you know what, Rob, what I've noticed is that they're now moving to Pence because they just don't want to impeach Trump. They want to clean the whole slate.
You'll hear the argument that President Trump picked Vice President Pence so he wouldn't get impeached because they didn't want Pence.
Yes.
But now they're going to try to decide that they want to impeach both of them because I'm not even sure why. I mean, they wanted to impeach him since he was elected. They wanted him to be the Republican candidate because Hillary was definitely going to beat him.
Yeah.
So he's a very beatable candidate. That didn't work out too well because it turned out her campaign sucked. Yeah, they definitely don't want Pence in there too because that's the Russians' fault, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, the Russians. Like my grandma always said, if vodka doesn't fix the problem, you're not using enough vodka.
That's great, though. I think there should be a history book chapter titled "As It Turns Out, Her Campaign Sucked."
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what they can't admit. Tyrus, do you think all this impeachment talk is just talk?
It's not just talk, unfortunately. But again, the Democrats don't have it together. They're a mess, and they're just going off of the self-inflicted wounds of this presidency and the GOP party. They don't stand together. They don't fight things when everyone's like, ooh, I don't know what happens. And to go back to the thing about Pence is he's distancing himself, which gives he filed for a PAC for 2020, like he was going to run independently, or it means not. And the way they explained it was it either means that he's going out on his own, and they brought up this whole thing that the vice president can actually try to vote of no confidence or something to get the president to step down. The GOP keeps giving these little things, and the Democratic and the mainstream media is running with it. As soon as they stop and they circle up and start working like a damn team that they were elected to be, we won't have these issues. But you just keep serving dunks. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah. The only issue, though, is that
I'm sorry, but if Trump says one thing and then he changes his mind, where is the guy coming out going, that's who he is, you guys. He changed his mind. Deal with it. Next. Then the story's over.
Yeah.
You know, we're just not the GOP is not doing a good job of fighting stuff
over.
because they keep adding chapters to the stuff.
Yeah.
There's no one in the Democratic Party clever enough to put something on Trump and make it stick.
All right. On that note, anybody have any final thoughts before I move on?
Yes, I do. I think, well, I didn't get a chance to talk in the segment yet, so I'm wanting to talk in the segment also.
I thought you did.
I didn't. I said 3 words.
Oh,
so
now you're counting words,
Can I have a turn or not?
No, yes, you can.
It's okay. So yeah, thank you. So all the outro music is playing. I don't know if I can still talk or not. This is very, very stressful. So I think that it is to an extent serious, the allegations against Trump. I think they need to be investigated. But when you go straight away to impeach before investigate, before there's any evidence, you're proving that your end isn't really the country, it's your own political agenda. And the fact that they keep shouting it out, thank you. The fact that they keep shouting it out, they're shouting it out so often and so soon. It's like a friend if they get mad at you and they're like, I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm never going to talk to you again. The first time you're like, ugh. And the second time you're like, ugh. The third time you're like, all right, see you on Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Coming up. You won't believe what a man did to his date who wouldn't stop texting during a movie. Or maybe you will. But first, the president heads to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the Vatican. We've got the 3 most qualified guests in the world here to discuss this crucial trip next. Is he answering the call to unite them all? In his first foreign trip beginning this weekend, the president will travel to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and then the Vatican for a meeting with Pope Francis. That's where he lives. National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster says the trip's unprecedented.
This trip is truly historic. No president has ever visited the homelands and holy sites of the Jewish, Christian, and Muslim faiths all on one trip. And what President Trump is seeking is to unite peoples of all faiths around a common vision of peace, progress, and prosperity.
So that's 3 stops at the center of 3 of the world's largest religions. It reminds me of a joke. A priest, a rabbi, and an imam walk into a bar. But by bar, I mean this show. Joining me to discuss the president's trip, we've got Father Jonathan Morris, Rabbi Shmuley, and Imam Shamsi Ali. All right. Jonathan, I chose you alphabetically, not because your religion is any better or any worse. That'll be for another time. All right, you're gonna go. You got President Trump going to see the Pope. What do you think the Pope's going to say to him? Because the Pope doesn't agree with President Trump on a lot of stuff. Yeah, have you noticed that?
No, you know what? He agrees with President Trump on the importance of peace. And I think that's what they're going to talk about. You know, we focus a lot in the news about social issues, political issues, economic issues. What Pope Francis is concerned with every day is major global issues of war and peace. And I think that's what he's going to talk about with President Trump, who has said over and over again that one of his priorities is peace, not only in the Middle East, but peace in the world.
I think the Pope, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I think the Pope is kind of naive about the world. Do you agree with me?
It's not bad to have an innocent person as Pope. Okay,
yeah,
that's not a bad thing.
That is true. That is true. But I mean, he believes that like if we could only have peace, but it's, you know, sometimes.
What else would you want? You're like, we want a Pope who's not interested in peace.
Yes.
We want a Pope who is not innocent. We want a Pope.
Good point. Good point. You're good. You're right. Okay. Father Jonathan, you win that round.
Okay.
Imam Ali, he's going to Saudi Arabia. I imagine he's going to talk about radical Islam and talk about moderation. He's going to talk about the need for temperance and all that kind of stuff. What do you expect? What do you hope to see?
You know, truly, I feel paradoxical. Many things on many things. Number one is I'm so happy, but I'm sad at the same time. Because I'm a Muslim.
Right.
And we, I think, in agreement that Saudi Arabia had been the source of many radicalism around the world.
True.
And now Donald Trump is going to talk about tolerance in Saudi Arabia. It's paradoxical in my view.
Yeah.
And I've read many news saying that Donald Trump is going to talk about Islam in front of 50 Muslim leaders. You know, Donald Trump basically is the source of ignorance about religion. I can see it. I'm a Muslim in America. I'm a Muslim in America.
Well, hold on. What do you mean by that?
I'm
allowed to ask questions?
Yeah, you can ask questions.
Yeah.
I knew this was going to happen.
Donald Trump.
This is called the bar fight.
Donald Trump had been the cause of many of the rise of Islamophobia. And not only Islamophobia, it's anti-Semitism as well. And the rabbi is here to talk about that. But I'm very sad, but I'm very happy also. Why? Because I truly wanted to see connection between these two great religions.
Yeah.
He is going to Saudi Arabia, going to Israel, going to Rome. I think these 3 Abrahamic religions must be in the front line for peace.
Could I respond quickly, Rabbi? Let me just get. Sorry. I want to. I think that Imam, you might have made when you conflate Trump's regard toward or hate of radical Islam. I don't think that's Islam. So when you put them together, that's more Islamophobic than maybe what he's doing. But that's my, I could be...
I truly hope that he's going to fight a radical Islam, or what's so-called radical Islam. But when he generalized Muslims radical, that's what the problem is.
Okay.
Well, let me first say that this is the driest bar I've ever been to.
Rabbi.
Talk about religion phobia as if men of God don't drink. But okay. Let me say with respect, with great respect to Imam Shamsi, Donald Trump is the only one who finally punished Assad for killing Muslims and Arabs.
Yeah.
And Assad got away with it. He was gassing Arab children, and nobody cared.
Yeah.
And when he goes now to Israel and Saudi Arabia, he would establish an eternal moral legacy if he decides to bomb the Syrian crematoria, which was revealed this week. And who knows more about crematoria that incinerate people's bodies than the Jews when Roosevelt wouldn't bomb Auschwitz. So that story came out this week, and nobody really cares. In the final analysis, however perfect or imperfect Trump is, however justifiable some of the comments he made or not, action is what most matters. And you have this genocide in Syria that no one seems to care about. And if the Saudi Arabian leg of the visit goes on without anyone discussing this, it'll be simply astonishing and shocking. Because for all the political upheaval we have had this week in this country, and the final analysis, there are some issues of eternal import that we're really not focused on.
Yeah.
And at the top of that is stopping mass murder.
Yeah, that's a good start. All right, Father. Let's be honest here about Donald Trump. He's not really religious. I mean, let's face it. I mean, he got the evangelical vote, but you know, it's like we know why. So, is that a positive that he really doesn't have a dog or cat in this hunt? That he's not a holy man? That could help him bring people together?
First of all, I should say I love the fact that Greg Gutfeld is like creating world peace here. This is an amazing thing. But thank you. Yeah. But you know what? Pope Francis is going to be meeting with Donald Trump, and he's not going to be asking him for his religious credentials.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be a religious person. You don't have to be following organized religion to actually seek peace. And I think what Pope Francis is going to do, and I hope they do that also in Israel as well as in Saudi Arabia, is say, hey, let's work with anyone who's willing to work for peace.
I just wanted to say that many people see this as a religious trip.
Yeah.
Or trip for religion. In fact, in my view, it's not because of Almighty, it's because of all money. Because Saudi Arabia is a rich country, it's about oil, and that's why he chose Saudi Arabia to look like he represents Islam. In fact, if you want democracy and Islam, if you want freedom and Islam, you have to go to Indonesia.
You're right.
Turkey, rather than going to Saudi Arabia.
It's a good. You don't want Turkey coming here after what they after you saw the president's henchmen. Holy. Anyway, we're talking about that.
There's nothing. I would say in all of our religions, there's nothing wrong with money, though. It's the love of money.
There's nothing wrong with money.
And I think if we can work
here is using religion for money.
If we can work with it's not using religion for money. It's working with powerful people to create peace, and that's a very good thing.
And on that note, we must roll. That was fun. We should do this more often. All right, coming up. A Texas man does something so insane to his date, you'll either love him or hate him or both. But first, Osama bin Laden's son wants to avenge his father's death. We discuss this with his dad's killer. Next. Will evil spawn find a new dawn? Documents seized in the raid that killed Osama bin Laden, thanks Rob, reportedly revealed Osama's son, Hamza, could become the new leader of Al-Qaeda. Funny that his name contains ham. Anyway, he hasn't been seen in years, though he often appeared in Al-Qaeda propaganda videos as a child. Now he's about 28 and has been named a specially designated global terrorist by the U.S. Hamza's recorded several audio messages in the last 2 years, and according to former FBI agent Ali Soufan, he's bent on avenging his father's death.
He's basically saying, in America, And American people, we're coming. And you're going to feel it. And we're going to take revenge for what you did to my father. We're going to revenge what you did in Iraq. We're going to revenge what you did in Afghanistan.
Scary stuff. If only we knew someone who was really good at finding members of bin Laden's family. So, Kat, you dated Hamza. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Rob, you killed his dad.
Yes.
I mean, can you come out of retirement and kill him?
Well, you know what? This is the younger version of Al-Qaeda, and fortunately, we do have younger versions of Navy SEALs out there.
Oh, that's
and
true.
that's why Hamza's hiding in a cave, because he talks a lot of, he does a lot of saber rattling. His brother tried that. Didn't work out too well for him on the stairwell, by the way.
Yes.
And I'm just saying, with these younger SEALs, you'd never push a man to violence when he's been waiting for a reason.
Yeah.
So he pops his head out, they'll send some more guys to get him, and it's going to end the same way. The guy's, he's running his mouth, he's trying to get some street cred because ISIS is going away. And,
he tweeted you?
In a roundabout way, he did. He said something about a meeting. They'll get me. And again, I use his brother as an example. That we didn't have Twitter on the stairwell.
You had the best tweet response, though. So I killed your dad, and then we dumped him in the sea.
Yeah,
that's under 140 characters.
Enough said.
No, we're just saying he follows in his father's footsteps. I'm sure there's room at the bottom of the ocean for him.
Exactly. He'll be chum. So, Michael, while he was doing that, you were, God knows, doing what? What do you see, I don't know, happening to this guy?
I think that I'm too terrified to be in this block.
Should Hollywood offer him a job?
Sure. Maybe as a stunt double?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
How's that?
For whom?
I don't know.
Look, you are the anti-improv.
Yes. Well, you know, I think that it's, what a weird world that we live in where this man and Osama bin Laden and his son are sort of able to have a conversation via this
social media.
machine. It's crazy.
It is weird.
It's crazy.
It is weird, though. You know, you mentioned that you bring him to Hollywood or whatever. You know, they hate America because they don't really understand it. I'm convinced you get a few of these leaders one weekend in Vegas, this thing might be over.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm willing to try.
Kat, do you have any tips? Anti-terror tips?
I'm just really confused.
Yes.
You're saying that Osama bin Laden's son grew up to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Thought he'd be leading the charge against ISIS.
Yeah.
Right? Did he retweet you?
No, he tweeted at me.
He tweeted at you, and you replied.
I think they've gotten rid of his Twitter handle.
He didn't retweet you? This is a bad sign. I know that's a bad sign.
You know what? I'm just going to go. If the next Darth Vader of the Middle East is tweeting you, I think we're good. We're missing the whole point. His interviews are hiding behind a blown-up piece of an airplane. Does anyone not see that things aren't good over there?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a dad, but this whole revenge my dad thing, I don't get it. And the last thing is he said he was forged in steel. He must have got it from his mama, you know what I'm saying?
All right, coming up. What did a guy do to his date after she wouldn't stop texting during their movie date? I might tell you. Next. Her movie night text left him angry and vexed. A Texas man, where most men are located, is suing his date for the price of a movie ticket because she wouldn't stop texting during the film, and when he asked her to quit it, she left him at the theater. Here's Brandon Vesmar, who's filed a claim for $17.31, explaining his decision to sue.
It's a principled action against a person who exhibited really insulting behavior towards me and towards everyone else. I am fully aware of the weirdness of this situation.
So surprised that she left him. Brandon is the topic of our newest segment. That's not how it was supposed to be. I said I was the hero and Shia LaBeouf was going to be the jerk. We somehow changed the graphic without telling me. All right, I'm going to go to you first, Tyrus, hero or jerk?
I made it, Mom. About to get paid. Go ahead. What'd you call me?
Tyrus, hero or jerk?
He's a hero. He's a legend. He's a saint.
Why?
I'm excited. Well, first of all, he's standing up for men everywhere who are on dates.
Yeah.
And when you're in the movie theater, the people you're with represent you.
Okay.
And if she's texting and everyone sees it, People get upset. People
That's
get
true.
Now,
She can get you in a fight.
She writes checks that your ass has to cash. Now, for me,
Exactly.
it's not a problem. I'll cash it. But the average guy, he doesn't need to fight me. Probably will be behind him going, bruh, can you deal with that?
Yeah, and it's so true. That could shit. She's
and it's
putting.
rude. Who wants to be with a chick?
She's putting you in a dangerous situation. Cat, hero,
Jerk. Text message addiction is a disease that I personally suffer from, and I will just text somebody into the ground. I will text a relationship into the ground, wake up alone and not even know what happened. And there is very little treatment for me, and it's very insensitive to make something that I suffer from also a reason to be sued.
There's a treatment,
How
yes.
dare you?
Leave your ass at the movie theater.
How dare
and
you?
sue you.
All right, McDonald's.
Thank you.
Hero or jerk?
Oh, how about a little bit of both? Almost like a manimal. Half hero, half jerk.
Who played Manimal?
Let me get on IMDb.
You turned into a jaguar.
No, but you know what they say? Never meet your heroes.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like somebody I'd want to meet.
Yeah, that's so true. You'll never meet your jerks either. Rob, hero.
I think they're both jerks.
Yeah.
You don't text in a movie theater. That's like the one thing. And this guy just for getting on TV saying he's suing a woman when you know he's using a lot more money on internet porn too. This guy could basically. I would love to see this guy on like the cover of Punchable Face magazine. Like this. He got on TV though. He's a hero to himself, but. I don't think he's going to be getting a lot of dates online anymore.
She did say that she was texting with her friend who was breaking up with her boyfriend.
Again,
It
it
was
couldn't
me.
wait 2 hours.
She was texting me.
It's a movie theater. Unless your ass is a doctor, you don't need to be on your phone. You're on a date.
Maybe she was a surgeon.
You know what she is? She's single.
Don't you remember the good old days when people would just... the good old days when people would just... Like normal people just yell at the screen. Don't go in there.
I still do that. I still do that, but I can't yell at the screen. My eyes are like that because somebody texting or taking a damn selfie at the movies. Movie night hashtag.
By the way, I don't understand watching something with a stranger that you can watch alone. I understand concerts or baseball games because they can't play a baseball game for each person. But you don't need movie theaters anymore. We can watch them alone in our bedrooms, which is how I prefer it. Don't go anywhere. Especially you, Stephen Kansas. You know who you are. Final thoughts next.
If you'll be in New York City and would like free tickets to be part of our studio audience, email gregtix@foxnews.com.
See you Monday on the 5 at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're running out of time, so.
What you've wanted to say all show, but haven't had the chance to say, so here's your chance to say it. Right now.
All right, Rob, start.
I just want to plug the book, The Operator. It came out a few weeks ago. It's a bestseller. If you want to read it twice, buy it twice.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Thank
you. It's a killer read. Michael. Yes, I know. It was meant to be dumb.
Hey, watch Nobodies on TV Land, and if you want, you can catch up to the old episodes by logging on to tvland.com.
Ah, very good. Pirates?
As I came in today, I walked through a sea of fans, and one of your fans, not mine, gave me this. It says, for Greg, he wrote a joke for the show.
Okay, let's hear it.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to read it to the show.
Okay, quickly.
I have not looked at it.
All right.
I have no idea what I'm about to see.
If it's a long one, then don't use it. Okay.
Never mind.
Last word to Cats.
How many, it's a question. Do you know how many followers Osama bin Laden's son has on Twitter?
That's a really good question.
Is it more than you? What's his handle?
He
Bin
has
Laden
70
baby?
virgins following him.
I wasn't good at Twitter at the time. It was a few years ago, but that's an interesting question.
Yeah, what's his pin tweet? I have a lot of questions.
You do have a lot of questions.
Please don't tweet him.
Yes, don't. You know she is.
Slide into the DM.
And you'll end up dating him.
Yeah.
And then
I've
after
overlooked worse.
Thanks to Rob O'Neill, Michael McDonald, Cat Sim, Tyrus, Studio Audience. I'm Greg Gutfeld. I love you, America.